Okay, here are some other examples on solving equations by using square roots. Oh, I should have checked this because we have a dreaded b here and a 6 in the same equation. So I'm going to change this to an x first of all. Alright, so our first step is getting whatever square, this x squared by itself. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So I end up with x squared is equal to -7. Then I take the square root of both sides. So x is equal to, I don't know if we ever had any of these, but we basically have an I, and then we have a root 7 which stays in there. So this is just going to be I root 7. Can never leave a negative inside a square root. You have to take care of it with the I. But again, we have our plus or minus. That gives us our two answers for our quadratic. So this is the answer for this one. X is equal to plus or minus I root 7. Okay, the next one. We need to get this by itself, so we subtract 7 from both sides. So x squared is equal to 13. Now we take the square root of both sides. X is equal to, no factor tree on 13 and no negative, so it's just plus or minus the square root of 13. Okay, number 3, we have x minus 2 squared, so the perfect squared part is on the left, and we just have the 9 on the right, so we can just go ahead and take square roots from here. So x minus 2 is equal to 3, but because we have the squared on the left side, it's plus or minus 3. This is the one where we are going to have two different equations because we have two different rational answers here. There's no square roots left and there's no imaginary. So we have x minus 2 is equal to positive 3, and x minus 2 is equal to negative 3. Just going to go ahead and finish this by adding 2 to both sides. So x is equal to 5, we add 2, and x is equal to negative 1. So my two answers are negative 5 and negative 1. Alright, the next one. We subtract 5 from both sides. So x plus 5 squared is equal to negative 4. Right away I know I'm going to have an imaginary answer because I have a negative on the right side, but when we take the square root, x plus 5 is equal to plus or minus 2i. We take the square root of 4, and because it's a negative number, it's imaginary. So we subtract 5 and subtract 5. Remember, you cannot combine these two because one's imaginary and one's a real number. So x is equal to negative 5 plus or minus 2i. These are your two answers because we have negative 5 plus 2i and we have negative 5 minus 2i. But like I said before, you can just leave your answer like this one. That's perfectly acceptable. When you do your quiz, though, I think you do have to do them both out separately because I don't think there's a plus or minus sign on the quiz on Canvas. Okay, we have one last one. So I need to subtract 12 from both sides. So x minus 3 squared is equal to negative 8. So again, imaginary. Take the square root of both sides. X minus 3 is equal to, okay, I have to do a factor tree on this, and actually I'm going to move my factor tree up here. So 8, so 4 and 2, and 2 and 2, so 2 comes out, and it comes out with an I, so 2i, and this is going to stay inside root 2, and it is going to be plus or minus still. Okay, but my x is not alone yet, so we're going to add 3 to both sides. Again, 3 can't combine with anything because I have imaginary and a root left. So x is equal to 3 plus or minus 2i root 2. So lots going on there on that one, but you guys can do this. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions.